You are live. Hey everybody. Hey. Um it's Bess. Bess Parks. The founder of Single Moms Level Up, and we are here. Um I'm sorry, my throat is like very dry. We are here. We are here. So we're here in this event that we got going on. This is day one of this 5 day event, day one of the 5 day Single Moms Level Up event, which is you are not the father. So event. And we used to hear all of that on that TV show. That TV show where he's always, you are not the father. You are not the father. Obviously, it seemed like they seem to always find, you are not the father. The majority of the time, it was not the father. But we're not talking about that type of thing, but it's a response to that type of thing. A lot of things a lot of times us as single moms we want to we had this dream, and we want our kids fathers to fit into that dream, but the majority of the time that's not how that works. It's a work in progress. It may get there at some point in time, but we can't put our expectations on somebody that is having their own experience, being a parent. Know that the dads as well, that single dads as well, even though they're not taking care of the kids, but they are dads that have children, I should say, because they're not the ones that are always 24/7 taking care of the kids. They may have their time, but in all essence they're single dads. But know that they're having their own experience as well. And I'm saying all this. I know Father's Day is coming up, but I'm saying all this because we, as single moms, need to have a better perspective of what's going on, not just with us, but with the kids' dads as well. They may not be the fathers that we anticipated and dreamed of and thought about years and years and years, all the way since we were little, about who our husband was going to be, and who the guy was going to be, and what our kids were going to look like. And we might have had that whole dream and that whole thought in our lives, or maybe we didn't think about it at all, and it was just like, it'll happen when it happens. But still, we had the dream of getting married, having kids, and having 2.5 kids, a house with the white picket fence, and all of that. But just because our dream uh, got a little bit off track, it has been rerouted, doesn't mean that it's not good. It doesn't mean that it's not good. It doesn't mean that it's failed. It doesn't mean that it's wrong. As much as society wants to say that, and some churches may even say that and make you feel that way, that you're wrong and that you're set aside and set apart and set down somewhere, you know. But know that's not the case at all. That's not the case at all. We are still viable citizens. We are still have something to give as single parents. We still have to raise our children to be productive and citizens of this world. And when we don't have the support um around us, and everything falls on us, and we don't have the support, or we don't see the support that we have, that can go sideways. Things can go real sideways real fast, because if we feel that, or we don't see that we have the support that we're asking for already from people that may or may not be our family members, that's a hard place to be. So I'm the single mom of two. I'm the single mom of two. And so I'm not just up here just saying what I think. This is something that I know, and I've been a single mom coming up on 23 years. Coming up on 23 years in November. So I've been doing this for a little while and had some experiences, and I have to say some of the things that I did to mark and to remember these phases of being a single mom and coming to the realization that I cannot replace their father. I cannot be mom and father. I have to be one, which is me. And I have to be whole. And being a single parent will bring up all kinds of stuff. Being a parent, period, will bring up stuff. But being a single parent, it brings up stuff like a flood. It just rushes in. Like the moment you have your baby, or the moment you find out you're pregnant, and actually it starts rushing in, and you start realizing, well, hey, this is not where I planned to be when I had kids. I should have did this, I should have did that before this happened. I expected myself to be someplace else. I wanted to be more settled, more financially stable. All these things come rushing in when you're pregnant, because as those hormones come in, and you start having memories, things just appear bigger than what they are. The situation may appear bigger than what it is. My hands are so dry, but sorry, that was a squirrel moment. Um, but things appear so much bigger than what they really are. That's why it's often told by doctors and psychologists, and stuff, not to make big decisions while you're pregnant, because we are overly emotional because of all the things that are going on inside of our body that are adding to us, and can often distort our perspective of things. So what is leveling up? Leveling up is basically changing our perspective, our view on what we think things are, or how we think things are supposed to be. Again, the topic for this session is dreams rerouted. Let me just say that, dreams rerouted. And just because it's rerouted doesn't mean that it's not good, and it doesn't mean that you're not going to reach your destination. It's just like when we use the maps thing on our phones or on the GPS in our cars. If there's something and we got to get off the freeway, oh yeah, I need to get gas, and you didn't, it's not the route that it told you to, it makes that noise. It makes that noise, and or it says rerouting. It's going to tell you, hey, yeah, something's changed. Let me change your course so that it matches where you are and get you back on course. That's the same thing of being single moms. I participated in a single mom summit a couple weekends ago, and one of the sessions that I attended had a counselor that was in there, and she had all the degrees, behind her name and everything. But she had said that single motherhood is a trauma response. I kind of got offended by that and was like, "What you mean a trauma response? Trauma response? I don't think I'm in trauma." And then when she started breaking it down, I was like, "May, uh, hmm, maybe, hmm." So I kind of just filed that for a moment, and then once because I wanted to be in the moment and to participate in that session, because the sessions are usually like only like an hour long, I think. And I wanted to be present, so I filed that for a moment, and participated in the rest of the session. But that was in the back of my mind, and I was like, there's like single motherhood, a trauma response. I was like, am I in trauma? Was I in trauma? Oh my gosh, excuse me. Excuse me. That's the water. I'm sorry. I'm having a little bubble gut issue. And my throat is dry because of my allergy medicine I'm having to double up on, because the pollen and all that stuff is high, but and the smog and everything else. But excuse me for that. But I was like, is it really, is single motherhood a trauma response? I was like, I think I was offended because I was like, what, yet another label? Now I'm trauma? First, the world labels us all kinds of different ways and blames us for all the world's problems. But I was like, yet another label, somebody else trying to tell me that I'm something that I don't believe I am. But when I took the time to unpack all of that and process that session, the another session um, that I went through, the main session that was there. When I processed all that information, I said, you know what, I get it. Um, the trauma is not that you are a single parent. It is the death of that. This is what we think. What tends to come to us is we think it's the death of our dreams, and that our dreams are gone, they're blown up, they're exploded, imploded, whatever, all messed up, but that's not the case. They're not gone, they're not unreachable. They've just been rerouted, just like GPS does, reroutes us when we get off track and brings us back on. It may be different timing, or we may have to go a different way to get there, but we're still going to reach our destination. But that's what we need to change our perspective and realize that we can still reach that destination, whether we are or I should say, when we are not trying to be the father also in our children's lives. We'd have no way of being that way. I've noticed, or what I've learned, I should say, I have a boy and a girl, and I had my son first, and then I had my daughter. When I had my son, I realized very clearly that men and women think totally differently. And I realized, oh, they're born that way. And I was like, well, if they're born that way, then we must be born the way we're born too, and the way we think, which is in two different ways. But when they're brought together and on the same path and have the same purpose, and or not even the same purpose, but um I'd say their purposes complement each other. Let's say that. So it's not the same purpose, but have complementing purposes, we get further. But it still requires work. It's still two different human beings coming together, learning to live and be with each other together 24/7 for the rest of their lives. That's what we, as most of us single moms, I can't say everybody, but a lot of single moms, we imagine the house. We imagine getting married, having the wedding, the house with the white picket fence, two cars and a dog. You know what I'm saying? Two kids and a dog, all of that. But it didn't happen that way. But just because it didn't happen that way doesn't mean it can't end up that way, because some of us will eventually have fathers in our children's lives, but and maybe you won't. But if we can, and what would be awesome is if some of the single fathers that are raising their kids 24/7, if we could just like maybe swap, and we support them, motherhood wise, not in us trying to get in a relationship or whatever. But if we could somehow have that support where, hey, they've got a daughter and they need a female to talk to about female issues, or they got a son and needs a male figure to talk to, that would be awesome. And yeah, I know there's big brother and big sister programs, but a lot of those are in the city, in the inner city, in this inner city areas. And I'm speaking this way because I was brought up and raised in the suburbs, and I still live in the suburbs, because that's where I'm comfortable in the suburbs, having more space. Yes, I got to drive into the city, but it's something I've grown up that way. Not saying it has to stay that way, but that's the way I've grown up, and I like having the open space. I like having the mix of agricultural and rural with a little bit of city all mixed together, which is basically the suburbs. So I like having that, although I think now I'm kind of sort of in the country. Because we got a whole bunch of rural, you know what I'm saying, we got roadkill and everything. But that's part of the South. I'm in Houston, Texas. But um I totally got redirected in my conversation. But these are things that come up, in our being a single mom, we have all these things that come up. And I think the biggest pressure that we have is that we're not the fathers. We can't be the fathers, and we need to stop putting that load on our shoulders. If the dads are not capable of stepping up and being who they need to be in their children's lives, um, then we have to accept that, and we can't force it and shouldn't force it, because it's not going to come out well for your children or yourself. Okay. So uh yeah, it's not. But if we can find somebody else that could be a father figure, not saying that, of course, we got to keep watch over our children, boys and girls. We got to keep watch of them all. We found that out. Now it's all coming out, in the public, that all these things that were going on behind closed doors. Some of them, behind, all types of situations. So we got to keep a better eye on our children, and teach them, and to protect and speak and be comfortable with speaking to us about things that are happening to them, and alert them and take the time and be present. So knowing that we are not the father, we need to be better. Um, we need to be better ourselves, and learn to just be who we are as mothers, as people, as women, and be better versions of that. Keep improving our versions. I know I'm having a hard time saying be a better version, because that's not really the case. It's we have to be open to growth, be open to growing, be open to learning new perspectives, be open to knowing that, and it's a lot of self correcting that we have to do. And I'm saying this from obviously my perspective, but just knowing that hey, I can't be dad too, so I can't, you know, uh, replace that and have the experiences that a dad and a son would have. It's not the same. I'm his mom. I'm his mom. I'm not his dad. And yes, I could do some things with him because I enjoy it, and want to spend time with my son. But make sure we spend that time with our sons, and with our daughters. And if you can't, if you at all possible, or try to make it possible, make it a thing where we actually spend time with our children, have conversations with them about their father. And of course, don't say bad stuff about their dad. Don't do it. That's only gonna backfire on you, so it's gonna be really bad. It's a backfire. Saying something foul about the other parent, that's just gonna backfire. Something I also want to talk about is, we as single moms, because we're not the father, we need to allow their fathers to be fathers, or their dads to be dads. You know what I'm saying? Um, yes, if they, we're like, they take them on the weekend, and we think, um, or they may think that that's enough, or we think that that's enough, that they have them on the weekend, or we give them that space on the weekend. But know this, in something that I had to do, which was a mediation. um, I found out this information, that even if the kid's dad sees them every single weekend, if they see them every single weekend in a year, in a 12-month period, they're only seeing them 14% of the children's life. 14%. That's not a lot. That means you got them the rest of the time. Offer other times other than just their regular weekends for them to see their dad. Invite him to their practice, for their sporting events. Invite him to their recitals. Invite them to um you know um other the other events that your children go to. Invite them to the birthday party. You don't have to have separate birthday parties. Allow them to give them their birthday party. We got to offer these things to them, because let me tell you something. The kid's dad is just as scared as we are, just as unknowing as we are, just as sidetracked as we got they've been rerouted and they're now having to go about life differently. We think that, oh, because they don't have the kids 24/7, that they're not affected by this whole situation. We think that they're not affected, but they got stuff in the back of their head thinking, how am I going to do this? How am I going to support my kids? How am I going to help them with college? What if she calls me and says that the kids need this, that, and whatever? So they're working, and doing all that stuff, trying to get prepared for what if these things come up. I need to be able to financially support, or and I'm not saying all the dads are like this, but some of them are. So I'm trying to give a voice to those dads that want to do more but don't see the opportunity to do it. Um, and of course they don't want to ask because well, I can't say as to why they don't want to ask. But some of them may not ask because they don't feel like there's an opportunity to do that. Maybe just the communication between us and them is not there well enough. I don't know why they don't ask, but we need to offer the opportunity for them to spend more time with their children. You never know, they may just say, hey, after that recital, after that football game, they're the ones that go to the after game, uh celebration or pizza party or whatever, and they go to that and they go and sit and spend time with them and get to know their coach and the other parents and whatever else, and you go home, spend some time with yourself, take a bath, you know, do some self-care, do some, self love, get your mind right, whatever you need to do, give them more opportunity. A lot of us complain because we don't have a lot of time, but if we don't give them more opportunities to be with their kids, um what can we say? You know what I'm saying? Give them more opportunity and accept the help that you get from other people. It's not always family, y'all, that helps us out. Sometimes it's the babysitter that has a home babysitting, business, and sometimes it's them. Sometimes it's a neighbor. Sometimes it's, yes, we have to be careful with who we let our kids be around. Yes, we probably shouldn't let our kids go spend a night at everybody's house because we don't know who's in that house. You know what I'm saying? Um, and yes, we need to know their parents. Yes, we need to ask more questions. Yes, we need to get these relationships with these other parents. Um, but the main thing is knowing that we are not the father and that we shouldn't try to be the kid's father as well as the kid's mother, because then our kids don't understand. They don't see the that we're women, that we're women, we have grown women, or at least older than them, but they don't see that we're women. They see a female trying to be masculine at the same time, and they don't understand their role. Now we're creating a confusion a little bit, a lot, greatly. But we're creating a confusion where they don't understand exactly where their place is, because we're trying to be two people, which basically we trying to split ourselves. And there's a condition that starts with split. I'm not gonna call it out because I'm not gonna call y'all that. But we have to be careful with that because we're not fathers, and it all starts with our mindset. So, like I was saying, when I went to that event, the psychologist counselor was saying that single motherhood is a trauma response. The trauma is that we have to let go of our what we thought our dream was and how we imagined when we were going to have kids and how we were going to have kids and what was going to be in place. We have to let that go and create something new. It's okay to try something new. It's okay to try something new. Single motherhood is on the job training. It's on the job training, and it's different for everybody based on outside circumstances, based on how we were raised, based on what our thoughts were, based on how we see things, which is why it's important that we level up, which means open up and expand our perspective and come up higher so that we can look down and observe and go through and work through whatever emotions, whatever traumas that we're experiencing from things that didn't go the way that we expected them to go, and level them out, level out those mountains that we thought were there or that are appearing there. We can level those mountains out to flat plateau, even level them down to the ground and be able to walk freely, out of those, out of and away from those situations, so that we can have a better mindset. So this is something that I've done, throughout my single motherhood. And it most of it started after my sister passed away. um I've told this story before, but my sister passed away in 2007 suddenly in her sleep. I found her. Actually, myself and my kids, we found her. And it was my rock bottom. It was my rock bottom, and I tell you, that took me a very long time to come out of that. Um, it took a long time for me to come out of that, but I also realized that I needed to change. I was like, I have got to change. I was like, if I can hear her laughing, and I mean having one of those gut wrenching tears, you're crying, laughing on Friday night, and we believe sometime Saturday she passed away, and then Sunday find her gone, I need to change some things. Somebody can go to sleep and not wake up. I needed to change some things. So I came to my rock bottom, found myself sleeping on the kitchen floor because that's where I was comfortable in the house. And mind you, this is the house I grew up in. So there's memories of her all over the place. Memories of the arguments we had and all of that all over the place. So my comfort spot was on the floor in the kitchen. I would put my kids to sleep once I knew they were asleep. And it wasn't like with a blanket either. I just felt comfortable on the floor most of the times in my clothes that I was wearing that day. And I would just have to get up before the kids get up, go take a shower, and get myself together. One time my son found me and he said, "It's okay, mommy," because I was sobbing on the floor because it hurt so bad. And I didn't know a hurt. I've never felt a hurt like that before. But my son found me, was patting me on my back and told me it was gonna be okay. And it's true. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay that we're not the father. It's okay that we have to that we change. It's okay that our children will require us to change in order for us to be present for them and to be who we can be for them, which is a support and a safety net. That's what, family is. Family gives you a safety net. And if you don't find it with your own family, you can find it with some friends. You can find it with people that you build relationships with. I'm just telling you, you're not the father, but that's okay. It's okay that you're not the father. So, these are 30-minute sessions every night. It's 5 days. Replays are available. So, if you're watching in the Single Moms Club private Facebook group, they will be neatly placed in the guides for you to watch them there. There's even a done button, so you could click the done button after you finish watching it, so that if you have to go and do something else and you miss something else, you know that you've already watched this session, and you could keep going. That's to help keep you on track, because this is a 5-day session. These events are always 5 days, but they last 7 days because I leave the replays will stay up for 7 days, I should say. But it's 5 days live and the replays are up for 7 days. I keep them up until well, actually 8 days. I keep them up until Tuesday of the following week, where I do a giveaway. So the giveaway is a single mom queen kit. I will I will present and show you guys that tomorrow, so you'll know what's in the Single Mom Queen kit, and that gets you have that opportunity to win that giveaway by commenting, by sharing, by putting hearts or thumbs up. Do all of that, but you do have to be a member of the Single Moms Club in order to qualify for that. You also have to have not won in the past 90 days, and then you need to make make a comment with your biggest takeaway. Put a thumbs up, put some hearts, participate in some kind of way. And it gets given to the top contributor that comes up because it's all being tracked. And so it comes up for the top contributor during the Single Mom event. So I'm going to say bye, y'all, and we will see you tomorrow, day 2 of the You Are Not the Father event. Share this with somebody. Much love. Have a great night, great evening, good morning. Hashtag Single Moms Level Up. Bye. I wish I had a stand. I'm going to get one, the right one. And I could do this better than having my mic all up in my nose and wherever else I put it.